Dear sons and daughters of planet Earth, it is with great joy that I come here today, to bring all my love, all my peace, all the feelings that you need right now, to bring you balance. I recognize, in fact we all recognize, that most of the time we have been repetitive. We always say the same things. But what's the point? It's for you to learn a lesson that is given only once. You don't pay much attention, but when it repeats itself over and over and over again, you start to think it must have some importance and you start paying attention to it. During the entire existence of humanity on this planet, a lot was placed a long time ago in your souls, placed in the sense of learning, in the sense of evolution, of unconditional love, when this planet was still a golden planet, an evolved planet. But with the fall of consciousness, you began to vibrate other feelings and, as if by magic, you forgot everything what you knew, because you found it interesting to get involved with new feelings, to get out of that feeling of fullness that you had by the total connection with Father, Mother, God. You chose to live in scarcity. You chose to live in pain. You chose to live in suffering. But unfortunately, you did not realize that these feelings came from those who held the power, who held the tools to provoke those feelings in you. And so your souls were living, increasing more and more the quota of bad feelings, pain and suffering in your walks. Of course, you also practiced good, practiced love, but in doses much lower than what was applied to those other feelings. And this was accumulating the egregores on this planet, the egregores of pain and suffering, of scarcity, of violence, because you only emanated that, and continue emanating to this day. So what have we been saying lately? Turn inward, start looking at yourself, stop depending on the other. You were taught not to look at you. So if you judge, most of the time, you judge the other. If you criticize, most of the time, you criticize the other. If you do an evil act, practically every time, it will be against each other. So you were guided, used, and planned to always look at each other as if you didn't exist. You are unimportant. You have no power, you have nothing. You just look at each other. So you envy the other, you covet what belongs to the other. You depend on the other, you depend on the opinion of the other. What you are? An amoeba, the lowest particle you know of. What are you? A mass that moves, eats, drinks, but doesn't think. What are you? Are you dolls? Totally manipulated by others. Look at you. Get in the mirror and look at yourself, but don't look with disdain. Don't look with judgment. Don't look with criticism. If what you see does not please you, it is the product of your soul. Beauty is a concept created to make you inferior. Nobody is beautiful.
I believe that this nation should commit itself
You are the
to
mirror
achieving
of
the
your
goal
souls.
before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
The more beautiful you will be. The more your souls are different from humans. The stranger you will look. Because your soul cannot create something so perfect, but that is in your concept. So you look in the mirror and curse yourself. Look how ugly I am. What? You are a divine product. Your body is a perfect machine created by Father, Mother, God, an autonomous machine that does not depend on anyone to be alive, only on the energy of the divine spark that is in its heart. So why so much criticism? Why so much dislike of yourselves? Who imposed beauty on you? Who told you that A or B is prettier than you? Those who have the interest of derogating what in their concept is not beautiful, encouraging vices to achieve a perfect body, stimulating sex by making that body an object of desire. Who encouraged this? But you got carried away by it all. You found it all interesting, and you seek, crave, run after, do whatever it takes to achieve this degree of beauty. What beauty? What is beauty? Something imaginary, something subjective, not something real, because you can be beautiful today and tomorrow, by a slip of fate. You lose your beauty. And then what will you do? Will you commit suicide? Because you can't bear to see yourself so ugly? So beauty is just one of the aspects that you've been used to comparing yourself to each other. So we always have to talk to each other. What did my son say? Love your neighbor as yourself. Do you follow this rule? You even love your neighbor. But you love with demand. You love with dependence. You love with subjugation. You love desperately. You love without balance. Why? Because you don't love each other. So you don't know how to enforce this sentence that my son said. Because you always have to have the other person involved. Each of you is a power machine, a perfect machine, where if you know how to use this machine properly, you have no idea what you are capable of. But you were taught to put everything into each other. Why? To take this power away from you, so that you would never think you were capable of anything. So you always need the other's opinion, you need the other's argument, you need the other to tell you what to do, you need the other to accept what you're going to do. Why? Because you don't think you are capable of making your own decision. You have to be accepted by the other. So you want to follow his opinion, so that he likes you, even if his opinion is totally wrong. But you will follow him, because you want to follow someone. You don't want to be alone in the midst of so many people. Why do you need each other? You have a divine spark. You have my son's spark in your heart. You have the spark of each of us, that you allow us to enter into your hearts. So why seek the other? Why seek the other's opinion? If you have a whole council within your hearts, it is as if you are in the center of a large auditorium, where several beings of light are seated, and You sit there in the middle and ask a question. And everyone, or some will give you an answer. But you have to believe it. Many of you say, "Oh, I ask and you hear nothing." Why? Because you don't believe, you don't think. We're capable of listening to anyone. So you prefer to listen to the other. Because he is there, you hear with his ear. So for you it is stronger and more palpable. So I say to you, as long as you don't listen to us, your world will continue this way. Because you propagate other people's opinions, not yours. On the other hand, propagating the opinion of others is having the justification that if you make a mistake, "Oh, I did it because he did it too. It wasn't your fault. You did it because he did it." Is this argument? Obviously no. You did it because you wanted to. Don't throw your decision to the other. So as long as you don't look within, as long as you don't see us and hear us, your world will continue as it is. Nothing will change, until the day will come when everything will happen and those who have effectively trusted themselves, trusted us, will ascend. And the rest who are totally dependent on the opinion of the other, because they don't think, they are capable, because they don't believe, because they don't feel, because they don't hear, because they don't see, and several other reasons, will remain in the same place. The fifth dimension is heart. The fifth dimension is love. The fifth dimension is trust, it is faith. The fifth dimension is you owning the power that you have. I will end my words with a question, so that you may think. If you are products of Father, Mother, God, what are you? Exact copies of His power, or are you something else? Peace be with you. Thank you for watching.